Hi everybody, I'm going to give you a quick tour of my boat. I just got it out of winter storage and backed it into my driveway. And what I've got is a Ranger 620 VS. So this is a deep V boat. I chose not to go with a regular bass boat because I do fish the Great Lakes. I go up to Door County, I go up to Chequamegon Bay on Lake Superior. So I fish some big water. I'm also a multi-species fisherman. So I do some muskie fishing and a little bit of walleye fishing. So I'm going to take you through the boat and explain why I chose what I chose. So first of all, I've got a Merc, I got a kicker, it's a 9.9 kicker. I need that for two reasons. One, we fish a lot of high school tournaments on a lake that has a 10 horsepower limit. So this allows me to use this motor to move around the lake. With this motor, I can go about 4, maybe 5 miles an hour. Well, probably about 5 miles an hour, maybe 6 if I don't have a lot of weight in there. But the kicker helps me to fish some lakes that I wouldn't be able to get on and fish with my big motor. In addition to that, I do a little bit of trolling for muskies and walleye from time to time as well. With that, I've got a Optimax Pro XS. It's a 250. And that is the max horsepower for this particular boat. This Ranger 620 does come in a bigger size, a 621. And I thought about buying the 621, but the maximum rating on the 621 would be a 300 horse, and that really starts to up the price quite a bit. I'm a firm believer you should always maximize the horsepower for any boat that you should purchase. All right, let's go into the boat and I'll talk about some of the things that I've got going on in there. All right, starting at the stern of the boat, this boat has a massive live well. It's a 50, I believe 50 or 51 inch live well. Again, I do fish muskies. Not that you put a muskie in a live well very often, but I have had to put a few in the live well and revive them just to get their energy back before I release them. So it's a big live well. I opted for this optional deck extension. What that does is give the person in the back a few extra feet of casting platform. Also in this boat, I've got a Minnkota. It's called the MK460 PC. It's a 4-bank battery charger. Thing works like a charm. I've had no issues with my batteries at all. Speaking of batteries, they are stored in the floor. So here are the 4 batteries that run all the electronics on this boat. I do have a lot of electronics. And I like the fact that these batteries are in the floor. It's a lower center of gravity. So it helps with stability in the boat. One thing about the Ranger, their seats are phenomenal. I've owned, this is my 4th boat I've owned, but the first Ranger. And the first thing that really stood out when I sat down in my brand new boat was the seats. Okay, these have a keyless, or not a keyless, but a touchpad ignition, so you don't need the keys. I do have the key here for the kicker. I don't know if I'm really wild about that. I would just assume have the old-fashioned key, I think. It's a little bit temperamental. All right, so I have a Humminbird 1199 with side imaging and down imaging. It's a 12-inch screen. I also have the Helix 10. It's the first generation. It's not the newer one. I primarily use this only for mapping. That's all I use this for. And that way I have one unit that has my maps up, has my GPS information, and then I use this for my location of fish and the bottom. Really big, I've got my bounce in here to keep any mice out from winter storage, but a really big storage glove box. It's kind of a mess right now. All right, I did opt for the full windshield. Again, I fished some big water, and more than once this has helped prevent us from getting really wet in some big waves. The rod storage in this boat is phenomenal. Again, here's some of my bounce. You can see, I don't know how well you can see that, but There are slots for 12 rods. I've had as many as 18 or 19 rods in here. You can double them up, especially if you use rod socks. You can see I store my rods up here, and the rod socks help keep everything manageable. All right, moving up towards the bow. This is a cooler. It does have a drain. You could use it just for extra storage if you want. And then this is actually a bait well that you can put minnows or things in. I rarely fish with live bait, so I just store things in there from time to time. And then this is where I store a lot of my tackle. Right now it's a mess. I'm putting things back in from the winter, but that's where a lot of the tackle is going to go. And then on this side is more tackle and other kind of storage. All right, so up in the bow, I've got an 1159. So this one does not have side imaging or down imaging. Again, 12-inch screen. I do have the Minnkota Altera, which I'll do a review on that individually, but I absolutely love this thing. I do fish some big water, like I said, and the old Minnkota that I had to reach way up front to deploy it, and when you're in big 3-foot to 4-foot waves and reaching out over the bow, it's kind of a scary thing. So it's got spot lock and a lot of other features, so I love this trolling motor. It is a 112 pounds of thrust, and it's got the longest shaft you can buy. I forget the exact length of it off the top of my head. I do have a Talon on the back. I forgot to mention that. So I opted for this where it's hands-free, but they do have little remotes that you can hang around your neck. So here's the other remote for the Talon. And let me show you the Talon. This is the 12-foot Talon. I just got one. It'd be hard to put a second one here with a kicker motor. But I love this Talon. It's a shallow water anchor, but it does go down to 12 feet. I also opted for this option that allows you to bend it down so I can get it in and out of the garage. Otherwise, I'd never be able to get it in or out. So it's just really quick and easy. Also, I opted for these quick releases. I can actually pop this thing off in probably less than 3 minutes if I wanted to take it completely off. To be honest, since I've owned this boat, I've never taken it off. Anyway, that's a quick tour of my boat. I use it, like I say, for all our high school bass tournaments, but I also do a lot of fishing on my own. Hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to hit subscribe.